I've been gripped by the news story this week of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I've followed how all the politicians and pundits have responded. I'm disappointed, and it makes me just wish. I've got such a clear idea of what I wish I was hearing. So I'm going to say it. This is from the heart. It's like no notes, but here I go. And it starts with what I think every conversation, every statement needs to begin with, which is today there is a wife who is waking up without her husband, and there's a 3-year-old little girl and a 1-year-old little boy who don't have their dad anymore, who's ripped from this earth. Man, if you've got kids, that should hit. I've got the 1-year-old little girl. I'm in that exact stage of life. All my friends right now have the 1-year-old and the 3-year-old. And Charlie and my birthday are within a couple weeks of one another. Yeah, I feel it. And something about this tragedy feels like yet another inflection point, another major milestone in my life as a political observer, as an American and a patriot. It feels like the stakes just got higher. And that as a society, we walked one step closer to the proverbial precipice. And I think of all the things that are going through my heart and mind, it is that the cost to stand up for what you believe in, the cost to in any way enter the political arena has always been astronomical. If you're smart and you've got a family and kids you love, it's a scary proposition. It's a really, really high cost. And that's just talking about the emotional cost, all these implications, the psychological cost. But when you bring violence into the equation, it frays the fabric of society and politics in a way that it's just such a chilling effect that I fear. And I think about it for myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm his age. I'm in his life stage. And I've dreamt about what if I were to get into politics one day? And it's like, golly, this hits close to home. It's really close to home. And then I turn on the news stations. I swipe through X. And once again, I see a tragedy unveiled before us, and the politicians and pundits just using it as another example to hit their favorite talking points, which I know I've got such an exhaustion, such a disgust for. I go to and see the Jesse Waters clip, and he's talking about revenge and how all the perpetrators, all the democratic organizations, the political party, they need to be avenged. Oof. It's like, hey, you've said that before. I don't like that. I don't like those words. And then on the other side, it's like, AOC, her first thought is to kind of talk her playbook on gun rights. It's like, man, I get it, but I don't. And then in the moment where I so yearn for a U.S. president to lower the temperature and to use this moment as a moment to unite and pull us together, it's all about the radical left and how they're to blame. I'm like, man, it's just these are y'all's talking points, and it feels like we as a society are in a loop, a doom loop. the rate of political violence is empirically going up. And I don't see a single person asking, how do we get out of the doom loop? How do we set this straight? How do we get the trajectory of our nation back on track? And instead of talking your book and hitting your favorite talking points, if anything, the quote that I've heard years ago, and it's always kind of like rang in my ears. It's RFK Sr. A year after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, saying, what is dangerous about extremists is not that they are extreme, but that they are intolerant. The evil is not what they say about their cause, but what they say about their opponents. I'm going to read it again. It's so, this is just a couple of years before he himself was assassinated on like a rapid political ascendancy where he was expected to be the next president. So here it is. What is dangerous about extremists is not that they are extreme, but that they are intolerant. The evil is not what they say about their cause, but what they say about their opponents. So I think me trying to add my voice to the fray and take one step out of the doom loop, out of this death spiral, no pun intended, is asking really two questions. The first is, what I believe is a step out of the spiral is humanizing our opponents. The nature of social media and TikTok is that the kind of content that I got about Charlie Kirk I didn't like. The algorithm knew me. I didn't take the time to listen to a 2-hour lecture or debate. So therefore, I had a pretty fixed mental image of what Charlie stood for, and there were things that I didn't like. But using that RFK Sr. framework, how can I, in this moment, take a step out of the loop and humanize my opponent? That's the exact word he used. And for me, it is saying, from everything that I know, Charlie was a good husband and dad. I'm going to humanize that. I'm going to take a step out of what my talking points would have been and said, that's the most important thing. And it makes me emotional every time. I hold that in really high regard. Really high regard. So I want to humanize that. I want to celebrate it. And in the humanizing trajectory, I want to bless and affirm the legacy that he did live for his kids, that is positive for them, and that they would grow up knowing their dad loved them and stood up for what he believed in a way that does hearken to our country's better impulses, which is debate, not violence. Once again, policies, let's leave that aside. Humanizing, he entered the fray, he spoke to his belief set, and he welcomed conversations with the other. I'm going to humanize that too. That's important, regardless of where you land. And honestly, regardless of what he said, I'm going to humanize that. So that's my step towards trying to get out of the loop. Saying, hey, I see that and I humanize it. Be my opponent or not. I think that's so important right now. And I wish both sides were doing that. And then the next one, the second thing of what currently, it's my only two ideas for getting out of the doom loop, is to say that I stand for leadership and a message right now that is so much less about our cultural hot button issues and more about words like unity and healing. Those are the words that I think our nation, whether they admit it or not, need to be hearing right now. And it's not coming from our president right now. And I'm not seeing it for many congressmen and senators. So when I think about what I can do, my resources, my capacity, it's that I want to stand up for and support others who are voicing those core calls to unify our country and to heal our country. And I've hinted this before. I'm thinking really seriously about like what it means to get into the arena much more explicitly. And for me, it really does boil down to there are things that I believe our nation needs in order to unify and heal. And for me, it's less divisive social policy, because so little of that even passes in it. It's like totally stalemated Congress. That's just to galvanize the voters and piss one another off. But instead to say, hey, I want to use my incremental time and energy and voice around saying, what does it look like for us to unify around recapturing the American dream, especially for my generation, where it feels so out of grasp, in ways that make every young person feel like they can finally afford a house, a good paying job, put food on the table for their kids, not be freaked out about medical care debt and energy prices that are through the roof. Like, how do you help them achieve the American dream? Not through handouts, through achievement, through work. Like that's a rallying cry I actually believe resonates, is important, and helps us elevate our gaze beyond this most divisive issues of the day. Like, wait, we got to get back to work. We got to work together as a country. But as well, and in the same voice, it is, hey, it's time to recapture the American dream. It's time to get to work building, and it's time for leaders to both speak and embody unity and healing. And for me, that once again is less around social policy. It's more about embodiment. It's more about, this is a fancy word, but like incarnationally living words like, I think you'll know the reference, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control, gentleness. Like, oh, those are the leaders that I want to support. That's the kind of leader I want to be. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. That I want to humanize my opponent. I want to celebrate the parts of Charlie's life that I can unequivocally humanize and affirm. I don't want to just revert back to my talking points like everyone else is. And I want to lead in a different way that gets us out of the death spiral. I want to lead by casting a bold vision and embodying the fruits of the Spirit. That's it. That's all I've got. Thanks all.